guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm just gonna be doing like a normal reading vlog, except obviously I'm not in my normal location. I am on vacation in Hawaii. So we're currently in Oahu and I'm staying at a hotel with my family and my boyfriend, and yeah, so we're having a fun chill week, and of course just being by the beach and the pool all day, it is perfect for reading. So I'm currently 80 pages into Morningstar by Pierce Brown. This is the third book in the Red Rising trilogy, and if you want to see my thoughts on the first two books, you can actually check out my 24-hour reading challenge, which I just posted. And yeah, I am loving this trilogy so much. I am giving both of the first books in a series 5 stars because it is just that good. His writing is so perfectly descriptive without being overly descriptive. It's so easy to visualize what he writes, and you can just tell this dude is smart. Like, that's really all I can say about his writing. But so basically we're following the main character Darrow. It does pick up about a year after the second book, so we have a little bit of a time jump, but it's not too crazy since not much has actually happened in the plot. And I will say, like, I obviously can't go too much into depth about this book since it is the third book, and obviously going too much into this will spoil the first two. But I have to say, if you haven't read or looked into these books, please do. They're absolutely amazing, especially if you're a fantasy reader. I feel like they're the type of books that you guys would like. They're very like politics and action heavy, although don't let that scare you because normally that kind of might not be my normal thing. I do tend to like lean towards the romance genre, although there's a very small subplot in here. Do not like go in here looking for it because you will not really find that much of it. But I will say, even without that romance, this book just really is so good. It captures your attention, very action-packed, very fast-paced, and his writing, like I said, is very good. Also, if you want to like gauge, you know, how much I like this book, I'm literally convincing every single person in my life to read this. Currently, my boyfriend, while we're on vacation, is reading the first book, Red Rising, so that should tell you a little something. But yeah, so anyways, I don't know how much I'm going to be filming since obviously I am on vacation, and a lot of what I'm going to be doing is by the pool and by the beach, and obviously don't want to get any of my like camera or equipment, you know, destroyed or anything like that. But yeah, so whenever I can bring you guys along, I will, and I'll give you more updates on this in a little bit. Okay, hey guys, so it's the next day. I haven't been actually reading as much as I would like to just because I'm way too much of a wimp to actually bring my physical books in the pool or in the water for that long, but I genuinely love this book so much. So basically, our main character Darrow starts the book off in a really dark place. He's gone through a lot mentally and physically, and he's kind of going through a little bit of a healing process and coming to terms with the fact that so many people around him like heavily rely on him and kind of just like his image to be not only motivation but just like actual manpower. I don't know. Like I said, I can't get too much into this book. It is a lot of spoilers. So far, absolutely loving it. You guys definitely need to give this series a try. Please. Okay, yeah, so I didn't actually describe what Red Rising was about, so I'm just gonna do a little quick intro to the series. So basically this book is about Darrow, which is our main character, and he is a Red, which is basically like the lowest class in the society. They're like the hard workers, the manual laborers, who are essentially just like the slaves of the system. And basically, so Red Rising is all about him kind of going through a revenge plot, kind of doing this uprising. It's really hard to explain without going too much into it, but I do think I described it a lot better in my last video, the 24-hour reading video, so I would just recommend checking that out if you're at all interested in the series, which you should be. You really should be. And we are also continuing with the found family in this book, which I don't really hear anybody ever talk about, but I've absolutely loved like all the characters, and especially now that we're in the third book, you know, you've been following a lot of them for a while, and their interactions, and especially like there's some like reuniting and things like that, and it's just really nice to see, especially after how crazy of an ending that second book was. The first two, honestly, I think he does a really good job, and I mean Pierce Brown, by the way. I think he does a really good job of making each book very satisfying, where you still want to continue, but each ending is still definitely like satisfying without being like, you know, it's only just a cliffhanger. It's a cliffhanger, but you still feel like you actually got like a complete story in each book, which I personally really like. So today, me and the fam are gonna go head to North Shore and actually go snorkeling and get some shaved ice. So that's what I'll be doing. Probably get some good reading in since it's a 30-minute drive. 5. And yeah, I'll be back with a little bit more of an update later on. Okay, hey guys, so I'm now a little bit more than halfway into Morningstar, and I'm absolutely loving this book just as much as the first two. The characters genuinely feel so real, and I mean, that's a good thing and a bad thing, because like I think I said before, none of the characters are safe, and so the stakes feel so high, because during like the battle scenes, you genuinely have no idea who's going to make it through, and when you lose some of the characters that you've been like following and caring about for so long, it's genuinely like devastating. And I will say too, so our main character Darrow, so he's both really like mentally and physically strong, but then also just like incredibly smart. And it's also really cool to see someone who is leader kind of like question themselves, being like unsure if their actions are actually like beneficial to like the society that they're living in, or if they're making things worse, because you really have no idea when you're trying to, you know, start a new world basically. Yeah, I also will say too, some of the romance is picking up a little bit more. I mean, it's definitely very slow burn. I mean, we're in like the middle of the third book and we're finally starting to see a little bit of hints into some more, but I feel like it honestly is more rewarding that way because it's been like building up. It's just, you know, the way that things are working with all the action and all that, it's kind of preventing our characters from being able to, you know, fully develop in that. But I'm absolutely loving it. You guys need to read it. Also, my boyfriend's like a third through the first Red Rising and he's absolutely loving it. He's also really liking the pace and he's not even a general reader. So I would say, like, please, you guys, read this book. Also, I will say the character development through this series, we do start with them being at 16 years old and now they're like 23-ish. And like the character development, just like the mental growth is absolutely insane to see. And also just kind of like the trauma that's come with being in the war and all that. I mean, also, I have been kind of reading, or I've been listening to the Daisey Haites audiobook, and I absolutely love their voices. Whoever, you know, casted them, I don't know if it was Jessa or, you know, one of like the people in the publishing industry, but their voices are absolutely so perfect, and being able to relive this story again, I'm absolutely loving it. And basically, so this is about Daisy, and it's kind of a bit of a love triangle, but you are kind of leaning towards one character, which is pretty obvious in it. So there's Daisy, and then there's Romeo, Christian, and then also Daisy's brother Julian, who I absolutely love. I mean, especially in later books, you get to see a little bit more of him, but it's really cool. They're basically like an art smuggling crime family kind of thing, and it's really cool because she's a med student, and her deal is that she really just wants to be normal or have a normal life because she's basically been surrounded by security and guards her entire life. You know, her parents were literally killed in front of her, and so her brother kind of has the trauma from that and feels this very intense like need to keep her safe, which obviously, you know, that makes sense. Yeah, I definitely recommend. I feel like I've been talking about the Magnolia Park series way too much, so I don't want to go, you know, too much into it, because again, that's also the second book in a series. But both of these series, I mean, I've been having a really good reading month, just, you know, going through these two. But yeah, so that's gonna be it for right now, and I will come back with a little bit more later. Okay, so hey guys, it's the next morning. Right now I'm actually like halfway through Morningstar, but I kind of want to take a little break in it, let my brain process everything that's happening. And I don't want to get through the series like too quickly because it is probably going to be one of my new favorites. But I've also started reading on my Kindle Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young, and so far I'm really liking it. They had a really good meet cute. So the main girl character, Wynn, one of her hands is kind of like slightly underdeveloped or something like that, so she doesn't have like a complete right or left, I can't remember which hand it is. And then the guy, Bo, has one of his legs like amputated below the knee or something like that, and they meet at a Halloween party because they're both dressed as pirates, where she has a hook on her hand and he has like a peg leg, and I think that was just really cute. They have really good banter. It does start off with them having like a one night stand and then she gets pregnant, which is like the main point and like entire trope of the book, which normally like that is not the type of thing that I'm really into, but I've heard absolutely nothing but good things about this book. Like, people have been calling it 5 stars stars, 6 stars, so I just kind of had to give it a try, especially since I've been reading in the pool a lot lately. I don't want to get any more damage to my Morningstar book because it's already gotten a decent bit of water damage, but yeah, so I've just been reading off my little Kindle, and I'm only 15% through, so I've only really gotten through them meeting and then her finding out that she's pregnant. But once I do have any more updates, I will definitely come back because I'm so far really just liking their interactions. So I'm only a little bit further into Out on a Limb than when I just updated last, but I have to say I'm really liking the way that the disability rep is being done. It's clear that like we're getting a really good insight into how she feels and like what it's like growing up, especially being born with a disability, and like how she felt when she was younger, like she had to hide it in pictures and stuff like that, and kind of how she's like, as she's gotten older, kind of like come to terms and like learn to accept it a lot more. And then also I like how they've really gone into just like what it's like being a woman, and especially in like this consumerist era where you're constantly being sold something and your flaws are constantly being pointed out, with then something like being a product to, you know, then fix this. You're constantly being sold these things. And yeah, so I just think that's like really realistic, and I think it just makes this book just a little bit deeper and a lot more relatable, and I really like that so far. Guys, so I am now like 50% into Out on a Limb, and I am really loving this book. I feel like I personally just really relate to the main character. I feel like her mindset and just like the way that she's talked about like body issues and I guess like parental trauma, you know, trying to like not make the same mistakes that you've seen your parents make, is obviously really relatable. And then also I love how she just like talks about just growing up in general, and these two characters have like chemistry that is literally like off the charts. It's so good, and like the way that they just banter and just like their jokes are so good. Also, I don't think I've mentioned, but the main girl character Wynn has a best friend Sarah, and you also see her and her husband, I believe, kind of just being like a support system for our main girl character Wynn, and I love to see that. Also, I will say too, I would recommend checking some trigger warnings because there is a few topics that are brought up that might be a little bit triggering for some people. Luckily they weren't for me, and I don't think they're like necessarily dove into too much to where it's like overly an issue, but I think if you could potentially be triggered by certain things, I would definitely look it up. Also, I will say this book is just really bingeable. I only started reading it really yesterday for a little bit, and already, like I said, I'm 50% through, and I really just want to keep reading. It's super easily digestible and definitely a well-needed break. I haven't read a romance in a while actually. I've been kind of just really into the Red Rising series, which I obviously still am, but it's a lot of action and there's so much going on that your brain really just needs to like take a second and process it. So it's kind of nice having a little bit of a lighthearted break in the middle of all that like craziness, death, and, you know, war. So I'm having a little bit of a relaxing break with my romance book. But yeah, other than that, not too much. Absolutely loving it. I mean, it's just the way that these characters seem to like communicate and understand each other, and just the way that already they've like talked about so much of their past with each other and have like really been super understanding. I mean, it's really just nice to see. And also the chapters, it's really cute. Like aside from each chapter name, you also see like how far along she is in the pregnancy and like the size of the baby, you know, in terms of food, you know, it's a grape or an avocado or, you know, something like that. So that's really cute. And yeah, like I just really love the way that they're both like coming together over this, and it's not like they're forced to be together like because of the baby, but they really truly want to be like at least in each other's company. Like right now they're not necessarily involved romantically. They obviously had like that original one night stand, but now they're just more so working on like trying to not co-parent yet because obviously they're still in the pregnancy stage, but just like work together and kind of be a support system for each other during this, you know, crazy big thing that just happened to them. And I think that's really cute. And yeah, so far loving it. So far would absolutely recommend, and I definitely see where the hype is from. Unfortunately, it is about time for me to check out of my hotel, so I'm gonna just do my last little update at least while I'm here. I'm about 70% into Out on a Limb, and I absolutely think these characters are perfect for each other. This book is so absolutely bingeable, and like the pacing is perfect. And I think I already said this before, but I absolutely love the friendship between Wynne and her best friend Sarah, and then her husband Caleb. Like, they've all known each other for a really long time, and then Caleb is kind of like, he's not like super close, but he is friends with the guy Beau, and it's really funny. They all have like a little Dungeons and Dragons scene, and that part was really funny. Also, what I think I like about this book so much is that a lot of the scenes seem very like mundane. There's not necessarily something like out of the ordinary, you know, there's no billionaires, there's nothing like that, but it's still like a very endearing love story between these people, and it's very believable. I mean, I love how much that they have uplifted each other and have been like exactly what each other needs, and it's just really, really cute to see. Especially, like I said, they both kind of have some like trauma from their past. I mean, he's gone through a lot, she's gone through a lot with her family, and like also just, you know, physically, and it's really cool to see. And then also like having him kind of help her like achieve her dreams and like push her in the right directions or stuff like that. It's just really, really cute, and I don't want to get too much into it because a lot of it, I feel like, especially in the later half, we're gonna start getting to some spoilers. But it is a slow burn. Obviously, you have like the stuff that happens in the very beginning. They obviously have a hookup, and that's what leads to the pregnancy. But we haven't, like I said, we're 70% through, and they haven't actually gotten together since that. But they've been building this just like really like concrete friendship, and it's just really nice to see that foundation, especially from people who are going to have to co-parent in the future. I don't know, but I'm absolutely loving it. Not too much to say, but absolutely would recommend and totally see the hype. The scenes where they dance together are so ridiculously cute, I can't even. So I am obviously back in my normal room. Yesterday, right at the very beginning of the flight, I ended up finishing Out on a Limb, which like I've been basically already saying, I really love that book. I'm giving it a 4.75. For me, it's up there with some of my favorite like Abby Jimenez, like really good standalone romance books. I mean, I think it actually is part of a series. I'm not totally sure, but definitely want to read more from this author because, I don't know, it was just so easy to get through, but like, I don't know. Really loved it. I mean, not much more to say than that. And then also, I read a little bit more into Morningstar, but I don't think I'm actually going to finish it by the time I'm done with this video. Just because, like I've been saying, like, there's just so much, and like, as much as I do love it, like, my brain needs a little bit of a break from more. It's kind of a lot, and I think I'm just gonna continue to like read it slowly throughout the next probably week. I mean, it's probably not gonna take me too long, but I just want to finish the video here. And then also, if you guys saw, I did actually get like 20% into Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, which has been absolutely blowing up everywhere. And basically it's about like these two, God, I never remember the names of characters, it's absolutely ridiculous. Roman and Iris. Okay, so basically Roman and Iris, they're both like competing for the same position at this newspaper. So basically they're kind of interns at this point, and she kind of has like an alcoholic mother after her brother has gone to war to fight for one of these gods, because there's two gods at the moment that are fighting each other, and it's kind of like causing like this huge war in this society that they're living in. And like I said, so her brother just went to go fight for it like a little while ago, and that's why her mom is kind of like going through a like, her mom was just going through it. And basically, so she and her brother have this like really close relationship. She starts like writing letters to him and putting them under her wardrobe, and all of a sudden they just end up being gone, like, so they're getting sent somewhere. And all of a sudden she writes like a really kind of personal one, and then she gets a response that this isn't Forrest, which is her brother's name. Turns out they've actually been somehow getting sent to Roman, since like I said, so there are like these gods in this society, and somehow like the people like buried them underground, and the magic like seeped into different buildings and stuff like that. So both of their, I don't know if it's her like typewriter or if it's her house, but it's his house that's like enchanted basically, and so it's like allowing for this communication. And it's, I don't know, it's really cool, like, and especially it's nice seeing like some of their original letters to each other. And he does actually know it is her. She has no idea it's him, and it's kind of like, I don't know, I guess he's kind of like getting more open basically just from seeing what she's written and stuff like that, which I don't know, I've been really liking it. Like I said, unfortunately I'm not going to finish it in this video, but I will definitely finish it in the next reading vlog that I have coming out. I don't know when that will be, but it won't be too long from now. But yeah, this was a fun trip. Obviously it was a little bit different than what will normally be on my channel, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will definitely take you guys along any other time I do travel in the future. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you did. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys all in the next one.